The industry failed to win a change to crypto tax reporting rules. The amendment it proposed would have addressed concerns that the bill requires crypto firms to report tax data to the IRS. They have said they don't have access to. Well, our next guest is Jesse Powell, and he's the chief executive of the digital currency exchange Kraken. In terms of trading volume, Kraken is actually Europe's largest and is the world's fourth largest. Outside the U.S., Kraken is popular because of its margin and futures trading offerings. Well, we're delighted to be joined by Jesse Powell, Kraken chief executive and co-founder. Jesse, as always, thank you so much for coming on. Every time you come on, actually, there's a big piece of news that we need to discuss. Today, it's the infrastructure bill. How much of a blow, what we heard yesterday, is it to the cryptocurrency industry?
Well, thanks for having me back. We still have a chance to save this, actually. So if we can get unanimous consent from the Senate in the morning here, we potentially could have a vote on this amendment. And there's just one holdout at the moment. It's Senator Shelby from Alabama. So if you're a cryptocurrency holder in Alabama, please give your senator a call and let them know what you think about this amendment. So what this amendment basically says, the bill says as it's written without the amendment, is that essentially everyone in the world, even computer software that's processing cryptocurrency transactions, would fall under the definition of a broker. And that means they would sort of be required to comply with all of the rules of a securities broker when they effectuate any kind of transaction, or if they are in any place in the process of a transaction, be them a person, a cryptocurrency node operator, a miner, or an actual broker like Kraken. And for us, it's not a big deal. It's not a change to what we're doing. We're already doing reporting. We're already getting subpoenaed by the IRS all the time for information. So for us, it's no big deal. It's really a big deal for the technology itself. This, right, as written, the bill effectively would be.
So Jesse, does it stifle innovation? I mean,
Absolutely.
What does it actually, does it stifle innovation, or does it, is it of more things to come that you're expecting to be regulated more and this is a first sign?
This bill as written without the amendment absolutely stifles innovation. I mean, it's effectively like saying every time you load a web page, you have to collect all of the personal information of the person visiting your website. It's totally insane, and it cannot be complied with as it's written. It just completely misunderstands the way the technology works. Obviously, decentralized protocols do not have a process to collect personal identifying information from people, or even have any way of knowing who the users are. So, it's a square peg in a round hole, and it's just kind of mind blowing that at this point, 10 years on, the people in government would still have absolutely no idea what they're doing here, and without having any stakeholder engagement on this, would try to slide this into a must-pass massive infrastructure bill, sort of a backdoor regulatory effort. It's just kind of shocking, and I think
Jesse,
makes everyone question the lawmaking process.
Yeah, but do you think they're just trying to make it safer? So even if it's impractical and actually impossible because you don't have the data, do you think it comes from a point of not trusting cryptocurrency or Bitcoin and just try to make sure that they have as much data as possible to understand who's investing and how much?
I don't think it's about that. That kind of information is already available through the exchanges. We're regularly providing data to the U.S. regulators and to the IRS. And the stated purpose of this piece of the bill is to collect additional tax revenue. They believe that there are people out there engaged with cryptocurrencies that are not paying their taxes properly. And our view is that that's a very small piece of the cryptocurrency user base. Obviously, anything that you do through Kraken is easily reported to the IRS. Your transactions live on the blockchain for all time, and the IRS is actually very good at looking at the blockchain to see what's going on there. So I don't think it's about consumer protection. They say this is more about tax collection and paying for the infrastructure expenditures that are in this bill.
Cryptocurrencies have had a pretty wild ride, Jesse, over the summer. Do you think some of the run-up is actually in anticipation of Bitcoin ETFs?
These have been coming for years now. Everyone's been expecting every year that there would be an ETF launched. With Gensler in now, it's possible. They keep saying that they need to see the volatility of these markets be reduced. And I don't know if we're going to see that anytime soon in cryptocurrency. But there are other ways for people to get exposure to cryptocurrency. Obviously, an ETF would be fantastic for the industry. I think if anyone can make this happen, it would be under Gensler's watch. So we'll see, fingers crossed, but I'm not really holding out hope for this.
But if we do see ETFs or other exchange-traded proxies for crypto, does it make non-traditional platforms like Kraken redundant?
No. The ETFs themselves still have a requirement to hold the underlying asset. So they would have to go to exchanges like Kraken to acquire those coins. And then any users who actually have a practical use for the cryptocurrency, for example, if they're using Ethereum in smart contracts or in a DeFi application, or if they need to mint NFTs, they would have to actually have the physical asset. The ETF just gives you price exposure. It doesn't allow you to sort of interact with the blockchains themselves.
Do you see, on NFTs, do you see a world where you could actually list NFTs on Kraken? Yeah,
absolutely. We completely have the capability of doing that. It's more of a matter of creating an interface that makes it easy, because we're obviously just a crypto trading platform right now. We don't have a concept of a fungible token within the platform, but setting up some sort of e-commerce site within Kraken, I think, is something that is totally doable.
Jesse, if you look at the sell-off in Bitcoin, it does seem to have been more subdued than the past. Do you feel like cryptocurrencies is, I guess at the margin stabilizing? Is it becoming something that will, I don't know if it will plateau, but will just become up or down, but within ranges?
Yeah, we've seen historically Bitcoin move in these 4-year cycles, and every time it pops up 10x from where it was before. This cycle, if you look at the chart historically, we could easily go up to $400,000 a coin this cycle before we get to the next Bitcoin halving. So I think it will trade within a range for a while. We got up to $60,000. We went back down to 30. We're now hovering on 46. This is, just kind of par for the course if you look historically at the chart and these cycles. So, I'm still very bullish on the price. I still think we could see hundreds of thousands of dollars a coin in the next 12 months.
Jesse, thank you so much for joining us. As always, Jesse Powell there with some pretty interesting thoughts. The Kraken chief executive joining us this morning.